NASCAR is a team sport like many other professional sporting leagues around the world. Teams in NASCAR are unique in that they sometimes have multiple teams under their umbrella competing against each other. Imagine if the Yankees fielded two MLB teams, or the Packers had two NFL teams. In the sport's 75-year history, we have seen many teams come and go. Some are new to the scene, and others have been around for over 70 years. Hi, I'm your host Matt, and this is NASCAR Team History, presented by Dogleg Media. In this series, we look to tell the stories of the different teams in our sport's history. We will explore a wide range of topics in respect to the history of each team, when they entered NASCAR, their drivers, numbers, and overall legacy. We will also include memorable moments from you, the viewer. Today, we explore a relatively new team with a lot of history, Stewart-Haas Racing. But with that intro out of the way, let's dive into NASCAR team history. Before we do a deep dive into the history of Stewart-Haas Racing, let's look at their numbers in the Cup Series. The team debuted in 2002 and it's competed in 757 total races. It's won 69 total times and has 2 championships. So many may not know that Stewart-Haas Racing used to not have any involvement with the Stewart part of the name. From 2002 until 2009, the team was known as Haas CNC Racing. Gene Haas, the 50% partner of the current day team, would run the show during that time. Haas would be affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports before becoming an owner, being an associate sponsor for the team. They would have a technical alliance with Hendrick, receiving cars and engines from the powerhouse. The team's first race would happen in 2002 at Kansas, with Jack Sprague driving the number 60 Chevrolet. The team would attempt to qualify for 6 races in 2002, but failed to qualify in half of those. 2003 would see a mix of drivers in a rebranded number 0 Pontiac. 2003 would be the last year that Pontiac would be in the sport, with it also being the only season Haas would run them. John Andretti, Jason Leffler, Ward Burton, and the previously mentioned Sprague would all make starts for the team in 2003. 2004 would see the team expand to a 2-car operation, with Ward Burton making all but 2 starts in the 0 that season, and Jason Leffler making 1 single start at Indianapolis in the 60 car. Mike Bliss, who would take over the 0 ride in 2004 for the final 2 races, would become the team's first dedicated full-time driver in 2005. Bliss would only spend this 1 full-time season with the team, and Jeff Green would take over the newly rebranded 66 car in 2006. 2007 would see the first time the team would run 2 full-time cars, with Green in the 66 and Johnny Sauter in the 70. The final year of the Haas CNC name would be in 2008, and it would see Scott Riggs in the 66 and a plethora of drivers in the 70. Now that we have talked about the pre-Tony Stewart era of the team, let's jump into the current status of Stewart-Haas Racing. We will break down each number for the team, beginning with the 14. The 14 is the number that Stewart would choose when becoming an owner-driver at Stewart-Haas. Let's take a look at the basic stats for the number in its time at SHR. The 14 has won 19 total times with the team, with 3 different drivers. Luckily for the length of this video, Stewart-Haas is a relatively new team and hasn't seen a lot of driver turnover. There have only ever been 3 full-time drivers for the 14 at Stewart-Haas, and all 3 have won a race with it. Tony Stewart obviously was the first to pilot it for the team, and he was able to get rolling right away. Smoke would win 4 times in his inaugural season as a team owner, setting the tone for things to come. Haas really never came close to victory lane in the Cup Series before Stewart's arrival, and he put them on the map almost immediately. Not to mention the sponsorship that he would bring to the team. Stewart would also notch another massive milestone for the team in 2011. He would have a relatively forgetful regular season, with Stewart even saying that they were a waste of a chase spot. They hadn't won a single race going into the chase, but that was all about to change. In one of the most dominant chase performances ever, Smoke would win 5 of the 10 races in the postseason. This would culminate into a tie with Carl Edwards for the series championship. Stewart's dominant run of races won would give him the tiebreaker, making him the 2011 champion. Stewart would also miss some seat time during his 8-year stint as a driver with the team. First, he would break his leg in a sprint car crash in 2013 after the Pocono race. This would cause Stewart to miss the remainder of the 2013 season, with various drivers filling in. Mark Martin would be the substitute for the majority of that time, with a best finish of 9th at Richmond. Notably, Austin Dillon would also make 2 starts in the 14 in place of Stewart, at Michigan and Talladega. The very next season, Stewart was poised to make a return after injury. He would stay injury-free, but he would miss 3 races due to a much more tragic event. During a sprint car race Stewart was competing in, he would hit a fellow competitor, Kevin Ward Jr., who had exited his car after a crash. Ward was visibly upset with Stewart and was showing his displeasure when Stewart's car would strike and ultimately kill Ward. Tony would take the next 3 races off to cope with this accident. Stewart would make every race in 2015, but man, that was a season to forget. He would finish 28th in points on pure speed. Yeah, it was bad. He recorded 0 top 5s and only 2 top 10s. Don't worry, Stewart fans, I won't touch on this one anymore. And then finally, in Stewart's swansong season of 2016, he wouldn't make a start until the 9th race of the season. During the offseason, he would be injured in a dune buggy accident with fellow driver Greg Biffle. He would suffer a fractured vertebrae, resulting in Smoke missing the first 8 races of the season. NASCAR would grant Stewart a waiver for the playoffs, and 8 races after his return, he would earn his 49th and final career win at Sonoma. This was a wild last lap battle with Denny Hamlin, and still to this day, it was one of the biggest fumbles in Hamlin's career. Stewart would make the playoffs in his final season due to this win, and the rest was history. That was a lot of information, but come on, it's Tony Stewart. He's literally in the name of the team. Now he moved to his successor, Clint Bowyer. Clint was almost a perfect personality to succeed Stewart in the 14, and while he wasn't able to find nearly the success Stewart did, he was able to get it to victory lane. He would pilot the 14 for the team from 2017 until 2020. He would miss the playoffs in his premier season of 2017, but 2018 would be a rebound year. He would go on to win at Martinsville and Michigan, locking him into the 2018 playoffs. He would ultimately finish 12th in the standings that year. His final 2 seasons with the team, while he would go winless, he would make the playoffs in both years. Clint would retire after the COVID year in 2020 and join the Fox broadcast team. His coverage is a hot topic amongst fans. Let me know your thoughts on Clint's TV presence down below. And that brings us to the current driver of the 14, and the most recent to win with it, Chase Briscoe. Chase would take over the reins of the Stewart-Haas Racing 14 in 2021 and has been in the seat since. 2021 would be a growing pains season for the rookie, finishing 23rd in the standings, failing to post a single top 5. He would do the opposite of a sophomore slump in 2022, breaking through to get his first career win at Phoenix in the spring. While the rest of the regular season was uneventful for Briscoe, the playoffs would present a very surprising run. He would barely survive the round of 16, but his performance in the round of 12 was masterful. Finishes of 5th, 10th, and 9th would be good enough to put Briscoe in the round of 8. Wildly enough, he was leading late in the race at Martinsville, poised to grab a walk-off win to go to Phoenix to fight for a championship. Well, a walk-off win happened, but not by Briscoe, and Chase would finish 9th in the final standings that year. 2023 looked to be so promising for Briscoe, fresh off a great run in the playoffs. What Briscoe fans actually got was an absolutely tragic regression. He would finish 30th in the standings, and while yes, there was that massive 125-point penalty, without that, he still would have finished 23rd in the standings. While Briscoe definitely had some solid showings this season, it was certainly nowhere near where he wanted to be. With Briscoe poised to be the veteran of the team in 2024, do you see him bouncing back? Now we go to the number that accompanied Stewart in the team's first season as a team owner. It only ever had one driver and then was rebranded to our next number. Here are the stats for the 39. The 39 had 4 total wins with the team with 1 driver. And yeah, this was the Ryan Newman era. It is quite comical to think that these two were teammates, especially after their feud in 2016 with Newman saying some rather spicy things about Stewart. While Newman wasn't able to get the 39 to victory lane in 2009, he would then record a win every single season in the remaining 4 seasons with the team. And here's a cool fact for his win in 2010. With his win at Phoenix, it would be the first time the number 39 had been to victory lane, and the sport's most recent numbergami. Newman would then rattle off wins at New Hampshire in 2011, Martinsville in 2012, and finally Indianapolis in 2013. Ryan would also be a benefactor of Spingate in 2013, replacing Martin Truex after the whole fiasco. And that pretty much wraps up Newman's time with Stewart-Haas. Now on to the number the 39 would be rebranded to, and it's a fan favorite. Alright Harvick fans, this one's for you. Next we have the 4, and it's all Kevin Harvick. Let's take a look at the basic stats for its time with Stewart-Haas Racing. The 4 has 37 total wins with that one faithful driver. In 2014, Kevin Harvick would leave his longtime relationship with Richard Childress to join Smoke at Stewart-Haas Racing. He would get off to an incredible start with the team. Harvick would win 5 times in his premier season with the team, and it would ultimately end up in his lone championship. Ironically enough, the battle for the championship would be between Harvick, driving for Haas after leaving RCR, and Ryan Newman, driving for RCR after leaving Stewart-Haas. Harvick would prevail, with Newman finishing second, netting the team their second and most recent Cup Series championship. Harvick would end his career with the team, driving the 4 from 2014 until his final season in 2023. Winning 37 times, he would make the Final Four 5 times in that stretch. He certainly could have won multiple other championships, but he definitely felt the pain of a winner-take-all championship race. Harvick and Stewart-Haas would give the fans some pretty incredible moments during his final season of competition, bringing back the 29 at North Wilkesboro for one final ride, and of course the throwback to his championship-winning Budweiser scheme at Homestead. I know as a fan, those moments were incredibly special and helped bring closure to the end of an era. Harvick's successor is Josh Berry, the former JRM driver and Hendrick substitute. In his time with Hendrick filling in for the injured Bowman and Elliott, he impressed, even earning a second place finish at Richmond in 2023. The team seems to be struggling with speed. How do you think Berry does in his first full-time Cup season? Alright, now on to the third car after the merger, and it hasn't seen a lot of success. Maybe with its newly named driver, that can change. Here is the 10. The 10 has had 2 total wins with the team with only 1 driver. The 10 would come about in a partnership with Tommy Baldwin Racing. It was originally the 35, but would be changed to the 10 for the driver. Danica Patrick would be named as the driver for the 10 for the 2012 season. The number 10 would be used to pay homage to Patrick's karting days. Danica would become the first woman in NASCAR history to win a Cup Series pole position, being the fastest for the 2013 Daytona 500. She would be the full-time driver of the 10 for Stewart-Haas from 2013 to 2017. While she would never make the playoffs with a best points finish of 24th, she would set the record for most top 10s by a female driver at the Cup level. After Patrick would retire, Eric Almirola would join the team and pilot the 10 from 2018 until his retirement from full-time competition in 2023. He would earn 2 wins in that time, and would even finish 5th in the final 2018 standings. His final win would be a somewhat upset win in 2021 at New Hampshire, locking him into the playoffs. Eric would make the playoffs 4 of his 6 seasons with the team, being a very consistent threat. And I'm honestly glad that I waited to make this video, because we now know who will take over the 10 ride in 2024. Noah Gragson was just announced as the driver of the 10 after being suspended by NASCAR for liking an insensitive post on social media. Honestly, Noah's personality is perfect for Stewart-Haas, and I think he will fit in perfectly fine. Sponsorship will be a major battle for them. I mean, look at Kyle Larson. After his suspension for a similar reason, he has had difficulty finding sponsorship outside of Hendrick cars. Let me know down below, how do you think Gragson will do with this new team? And now we get to the final full-time number in the Stewart-Haas stable. It has also had the most drivers since the merger. Here is the 41. The 41 has 7 total wins between 2 different drivers. The 41 would be introduced in 2014 for Cup Series champion Kurt Busch. He has the 3rd most wins in Stewart-Haas history with 6 total wins, piloting the 41 from 2014 until the conclusion of the 2018 season. He would make the playoffs every year with the team, winning races in each of his 5 seasons with them. No bigger win though than his 2017 Daytona 500 victory. This would be the first race for Stewart-Haas with Ford as their manufacturer. It was also the first season with Monster Energy as the title sponsor. He would miss some seat time in 2015 when he was indefinitely suspended by NASCAR following a legal dispute. He would miss 3 races, in which Regan Smith, the winner of the 2008 AMP Energy 500, would fill in for him. Kurt's time at Stewart-Haas was fun to watch, and it was by far the most competitive the 41 has been in its time with the team. After Kurt would leave the team in 2018, Daniel Suarez would fill the seat in 2019. While Suarez didn't have a phenomenal season, he would finish the best of the non-playoff drivers in 17th. He would record 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s in that time. I personally don't think Daniel was given a fair chance at Stewart-Haas, being cut after just that one season. With Suarez out, it was time for Cole Custer to get in the seat in 2020. I struggled to write this part of the script, because yes, Cole Custer would get that miraculous win at Kentucky in 2020 to lock himself into the playoffs, but his next 2 seasons would be less than stellar. He would finish 26th and 25th in the points the next 2 seasons. This would cause the team to promote their development driver Ryan Preece for the 2023 season, with Custer moving down to the Xfinity series. More on his time there shortly though. And that brings us to the current driver, the aforementioned Preece. It's not ideal when the highlight of your season was a scary crash at Daytona. Recording only 1 top 5 and 1 top 10, Preece would finish 23rd in the final standings. He would perform well at short tracks, winning the pole for the spring Martinsville race, and his lone top 5 would come at Richmond. With his first season with Stewart-Haas under his belt, how do you think Preece performs in 2024? And yeah, I want to touch on their Xfinity program, because it seems that is the best thing about Stewart-Haas at the moment. Here are some basic stats. Stewart-Haas has 26 total wins and 1 championship in the Xfinity series. And that 1 championship would come in 2023 with the previously mentioned Cole Custer. He would win the title in his first season after being relegated to the Xfinity series. He showed true grit to win that championship, and it honestly impressed the heck out of me and a lot of other fans. He is confirmed to be back in 2024 with the 00, so look for the defending champ to be a threat again. And we also need to talk about Riley Herbst. He also showed speed and talent, but just couldn't find victory lane. That all changed in the second half of the 2023 season. While he would miss the playoffs, that didn't discourage Herbst from competing. He would dominate at his hometown track of Las Vegas for his first career win. As a matter of fact, he would end the season with 5 straight top 5s, giving him incredible momentum for 2024. I'd be willing to bet that Riley Herbst will find victory lane plenty more in the near future. With their Xfinity program out of the way, now let's get to some honorable mentions from you, the viewer. Pib mentioned Haas's first win as a team before the merger with Tony Stewart. The team would get a lone Xfinity Series win with Jason Leffler at Nashville in 2004. I figured this would be perfect after just talking about the Xfinity Series program. Great mention, Pib. And Steelers Nation mentioned Harvick and Stewart doing the double burnout in 2016 at Bristol. This was an incredible moment that I got to see in person, and man was it powerful knowing that it was Tony's last time at the high banks. And during this honorable mention, I just wanted to say thank you to Kevin Harvick. For a guy who got thrown into quite possibly the worst situation in the sport's history, he didn't back down. The memories you brought us fans over the years will never be forgotten. Enjoy retirement, Kevin, and I can't wait to see you in the broadcast booth. And that'll do it for Stewart-Haas Racing. A lot of you commented that for a relatively new team, they have a lot of history, and I couldn't agree more. As always, I'm prone to forgetting drivers and moments. Let me know anything I may have missed for Stewart-Haas down below. Next time we look at one of NASCAR's biggest what-if teams, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Be on the lookout for the poll on the community tab to vote for the team to be featured after DEI. If you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. It helps a ton, and I definitely appreciate it. And did you know that 71% of my viewers aren't subscribed, but they are returning viewers? If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? And as always, I want to thank the Dogleg team for all of their incredible work. Darksea, Dice, Christian, Chili, Elite, and The Gamer, y'all help make the channel and community a much better place. We also have a Discord server. Find the invite in the About section of the channel or in the description below. We share our silly season picks, merch collections, race reaction, exclusive contests, and so much more over there. Come join us. But that'll do it for us here at Dogleg Media. I'm Matt, your host, and you've been watching NASCAR Team History. I'll see you next time.